But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory. Hello everybody and welcome to tonight's CVRcade group activities ride, I believe it's called. Well, for those that have not heard, for those that weren't around on Tuesday when the announcement was made, all official CVRcade racing has been put on hold for 2 weeks, which means today we're going to have our very first streamed group ride here out on the map of Cityscape, New York City. We've got 3 maps that we're going to be riding in each zone. This activity that includes Cityscape, New York City. We'll be doing 4 laps of this. There's a wind out there, there's a leader, there's a sweeper, which means everybody will be kept together. We'll go into a bit more of a detail. I'm just giving you the broader vision of what's going to be unfolding on your screen today. If you came here expecting racing, it's a group ride. It's going to be social. I think it's going to be very fun. I think it's going to be very opening to see some of these personalities on display. Cityscape, New York City is up first. Leader, a sweeper. People have refillable comeback kits so they can come back when they need to. There's quantum shift. And there's a wind, so riders stick together. After this, we head to CVRcade Peak, where there's 3 laps. You get refillable comeback kits and a quantum shift. On that map you can crash, on this map you can't. Then we finish with a bit of a fun little after party to open up the legs for those that want to. Country rally with the Racer's Edge ability. Now, joining on this group ride, I see there's plenty of people already out on the map riding here on the stream today. We'll be seeing Homer Thompson, who will be joining us here today. He is riding with his wife right next to him, Elizabeth Thompson as well. We have got Allison Kubota making a return here to the streaming as well. So the duck is back as she waves to the camera as well. Good to see her back. We have got Daniel LeBlanc, who is in here straight out of Canada. He's also going to be in the broadcast today. We're going to be chatting with all these guys and girls about all the current affairs, talk some CVRcade, talk some Mixer, just talk basically anything while we get some exercise in. Or, well, they get some exercise in and I get to stand here and talk to you guys. We've also got the usual leader you see in our classes and our group rides. Beth York here, leader of the Rise and Rip group ride on Monday and Friday. She'll be in here. She'll be telling you all about the classes and how you can get involved. And then I believe we've also got Ryan Goldenberg. Or not. I think he's in here as well, riding both zones. But 30 seconds to go here. Again, this is a group ride. They're going to be riding this one out. We've got Beth on the screen here. Beth, you've done so many group rides in the last 6 months on CVRcade. What can both the viewers and the riders expect today?
Well, in 15 seconds, we're not going to have to sprint out of the gate, which is going to be really nice. And maybe for some riders that haven't been on a group ride, will welcome. So I think that coming together as a ride, you could actually work on different dynamics. So a lot of times in our Rise and Rip rides, where we're just kind of figuring out how the dynamics work. What does it feel like to draft? How do we get into the pocket, as I like to call it, of the wheel in front of you, so that you don't smash into it. So it's just fun. It's kind of chill. It's a great way to like learn the game and talk to people and not be completely out of breath and on your limit. It's different.
Yeah, Beth, I've had the pleasure myself of riding some of your group rides lately, and they've been really good fun. They've been a very different experience. out on CVRcade. We see the ride has begun here. The riders will be using the in-game audio widget to chat to each other. Some are in the stream, some are listening to it right now. I saw MoTP Kelney in the chat as Ryan Goldenberg makes it here. So we do have a leader and a sweeper. Tim Fulford is out here currently riding as the leader, which means that no one is able to pass beyond him but except for a certain distance. I'm not quite sure what that distance is set to, but I believe it's set to 5-10 meters. So if you try, to race this and ride it off the front, well, the game will just slowly not allow you to do that. And just like that, we also have a sweeper on the back, and I think Beth is the sweeper, meaning that no rider can go behind Beth by a certain distance. We've got all sorts of riders in here today. I see Ryan Goldenberg, Nigel Doyle, Beth York, MoTP Kelney, Kale Laguna. We got Jeff Rooney, Casey Shum, Allison. So looks like everybody riding in solidarity here, getting some miles and kilometers in. Now, we do have Homer Thompson here in the broadcast as well. You saw him very early on. Homer, I have very much enjoyed our group riding experiences lately, Homer. I know you love these group rides so much. What is it about these that are so fun to do?
I don't have to beat myself up. I can just ride and have fun.
Definitely a good way of having fun here. And I know you've got your wife next to you as well. What's that experience like to have, you, your wife ride together in here and share this common experience?
Oh, this is great, but she can normally take me on these tracks, so that's kind of deflating in some ways. But no, it's a great experience.
Now, with all due respect, I don't think Elizabeth does that many omniums in a day, such as you do as well. So fatigue does play a role, but. Homer, you're riding out here. I know you've led some of the classes as well. What are some of the tips you can give the riders in here? What should people be doing? What should they be looking for? What makes sure that you optimize the amount of fun you're having?
Well, I don't know if there's any tips really needed. I mean, with a leader and a sweep, well, as long as you're pedaling, I think you're gonna stay with the group. So, just have a good time. Enjoy it, talk to your people, and have a good time.
I like that where we just saw everybody come to a standstill, and that was the leader in effect there, the super. Thank you very much, Homer Thompson, as we get our leader back to the front there. Do you see that our executive producer was just on the front for a second? That's no fault of our executive producer. That is me, who I forgot to turn down the power on the keyboard rider. Allison with the peace and love coming in here as well. Good to see her back in the broadcast. If we can go back to Beth, by the way, because I had a very good experience with this is going to sound weird, but we actually had a good peep for once today, Beth. Like, we got sent a nice care package by Kathy and Vanessa, and we had a strawberry-shaped, heart-shaped peep. That's the best one. Like, why can't they all be like that?
Well, there's blue raspberry, there's fruit punch, there's birthday cake. They are heartwarming and magical. And I've just summoned the little one in my house who is making desserts for me. So
that is cute. What is that?
It's
chocolate cupcakes.
Chocolate cupcakes.
Did you make enough for everyone?
No. I don't think she made enough for the group, but I will do my part and eat enough for everyone. So there is a benefit to having your little people home, especially if they're good bakers. But yeah, they had a hand, and they are my taste testers on the Peeps. But nobody is much of a lover of those candies as me. But I'm glad you've come around to it. Strawberry heart-shaped delish.
It's good. I'll just say this. You don't have to make enough for everybody. Just you and me, Beth. It's fine. The rest,
okay.
they don't need to have any cupcakes. It's fine as long as we got ourselves covered. No, it's all good.
I mean, even contemplating eating something and having a conversation. I mean, that's more, that's what we do outside, right? Like you're on a long ride and, you have a stop and then you have a little snack and, I'll tell you, I love fitness and I love working out, but I also love to have treats. So I'm trying to keep everything as normal as I can in these times, and have fun, smile, eat cupcakes.
Got it. No, and also peeps. I think we've also got Ryan in here, and Ryan Goldenberg is, I see him near the back here in 19th place as well. Ryan, what do you like? So the whole working from home and self isolating, this like taking over the world. How have you been finding staying home and doing all this, or are you even staying at home right now?
I am at home. I work from home often, so that part of it hasn't changed a ton for me. I do have my kids running around in the background as well. I told them if they wanted to make an appearance, they're more than welcome. Hitting balloons around, showing me their coloring, tripping over my Ethernet cord, all the normal stuff.
Just the typical.
Yeah. I think I'm actually the sweeper in this ride, so I'm having a little bit of fun. I've never used the super before. The sweeper is super. So it's fun kind of sitting in the back, sprinting to the front and see if everybody comes with me.
Yeah. Have you done many group rides before on CVRcade?
I've done group rides. I've come to Rise and Rip a few times. I definitely try to show up to the more casual ones when I can. But one like this with so many people and leaders and sweepers, that's something new for me. I've also got a surprise for you, Jesper, based on our conversation Tuesday.
Is this another Canadian Danish one?
It's not a Canadian Danish, but it has to do with jerseys. So if you show me on stream, I'll have a surprise for you later.
Okay, I will come back later to you as well. Now, chat, you're also more than welcome to join in. This is a round table. We're all just chatting, getting in some rides. The riders are riding at 260, 150, 200, some are at 600. But they're all within each other. They're all not going that hard. They're just enjoying the laps of cityscape New York City out there. So, make sure to just join in the chat. If there's any questions you've ever had that you wanted to ask, if there's anything you want us to discuss on the stream, we've already had the obligatory peep discussion. I did not, I was discussing with the executive producer, Victor, what topic should we discuss today? What topic should we bring up? And he just said, for the love of God, do not mention food. And then we have a peep, seconds before going on air, and we're both like, we've had a few selections of peep now, because peeps are apparently the national treasure of the US. And if you don't know where this whole thing started, go into the archives of CVRcade live streaming, and you'll see late last year when it became quite quite the talking point in the community. And then we tried this strawberry thing. It was like, wow, there's actually a good peep out there. Who knew? I mean, I even saw Casey Shum in the chat as well, being surprised as the riders come on through. We got Daniel LeBlanc, who's on the screen now. Daniel, I know when you usually ride CVRcade, you're riding it in negative, what seems to be 9,000 degrees. What's the temperature like today?
Today is pretty good. Spring hit pretty quickly, so I think it's about 6 degrees. Maybe a little bit warmer. Yeah, 6 degrees Celsius.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, no toque, no jacket. Just comfortable riding.
Where do you live? Because I remember seeing towards the end of December, whenever you came on the stream, it looked like you're about to build a snowman.
Yeah, I'm in southern Ontario, a couple hours out of Toronto. So we get some pretty good snow.
Are you
lake effect wind.
Are you a basketball fan by any chance?
No.
Oh,
Not really.
I had to ask, since the whole Toronto Raptors, Canada's team took over the NBA, and I'm like, well, it'd be quite fun to be in Canada when that happened, but doesn't matter. When you've got cycling, nothing else really matters, right?
That is correct.
How are you finding life these days? Any changes? How do you keep yourself sane these days? Besides, riding CVRcade.
Basically been doing yoga, bodyweight workouts on my own. sort of just trying to keep busy. Avoiding grocery stores is a big thing. Good news is my house is either vegan or vegetarian, so nobody's been touching our section of the grocery store.
That is funny. You know, that is a crazy phenomenon. Like, by the way, I have to question you about the yoga thing. I need to understand what that helps and how you do it. But the whole grocery thing is like, you know, a week ago you could buy stuff. If you walk in there now, unless you are vegetarian or vegan like yourself, there's nothing left. Like, it's a bit nuts. Like, it feels like you walked into a zombie, like, apocalypse. You've just woken up and it's like, well, there's no pasta or rice for me. So, but talk to me about the yoga. So how did you get into that, and like how does it help?
I initially got into it just as a way to stretch. So my body was like super tight being in construction in the military for almost 2 decades. So I figured I just needed to loosen my hips and back, be able to actually pick things up off the floor. And I went to physio, and they were charging me like $90 a session to do yoga.
Wow.
They just called it something else. So started with YouTube and then moved on to other things. The Sufferfest app had like a lot of write-ups on how it actually helps on the bike. So I look for more like bike-specific yogas now. And I definitely found I can generate a lot more power and ride a lot more efficiently if I just keep stretched out. So it's definitely worth it. I'd recommend everyone look into proper stretching. And yoga is just calming and fun to do. So if you can get into it, it'll help.
So Casey Shum agrees with you. In the chat he says it's a good idea to do yoga. Remember, we're at home. We shouldn't train 7 days a week. Take proper rest. It can be difficult, but I mean, I remember the only time I've done yoga was with Hunter Allen, and I remember doing like a downward dog. This was one of the earlier CVR World Cups in Los Angeles, and we were doing yoga. You know, it's actually like crazy addictive. Like yoga, meditation, all this like self-improvement, self-awareness. Like, be careful. Once you start, you can't really go back. Is that what you're experiencing as well, Daniel?
Pretty much. I mean, like, why would you want to go back from feeling fantastic? So
That is true.
I think the addictiveness of it is just a testament to how well it works.
That very true. Very, very true. So, I mean, interesting fact and knowledge. I mean, that's kind of what these group rides are here for. I see the chat. See, we got Crucial Ball going back to being around the hospital. So, best, you know, stay safe, Crucial Ball. We need somebody to comment on the Cade Corner episode. So make sure to stay safe. We need you out here. You are definitely a voice of reason when it comes to critique and feedback on the Cade Corner. So all love goes out to you, Crucial. Casey says, don't forget the caramel M&Ms, Jesper. You know, that Los Angeles CVR World Cup was really my first experience being with the CVR people and working a CVR World Cup event, and it was like unlike any other. The camaraderie, the family, the professionalism that came across, and the planning to detail. It was very, very impressive. It was a very, very fun event. You had a lot of people you'd seen online that you'd never really met come together, and you get to, you know, have dinner together. You get to talk. You get to make jokes. You get to eat caramel M&Ms. You get to ride. We got to ride out in Los Angeles with the CVR World Cup that year. It was amazing, an experience I'll never forget. And yes, doing yoga with Hunter Allen, also something I will never forget. I think those videos are still on CVR World Cup somewhere, where we did some behind the scenes back then. It was really, really good stuff, very fun stuff. Alison Kubota was one of the riders there, I do believe, as well. But we've got 5 kilometers left of this first event. Want to go back here as we see Tim on the front. We got Beth Jorgen here, who is down in 5th. Beth, any tips when you're being a leader, when you're being a sweeper, and also, like, if you somehow want to do this yourself, how do people do it now? How do people organize a group ride like this?
Yeah, well, first, organizing and creating a group ride is really easy. on the platform. The same way you go to join an event, there's a little create button. You can schedule it. You can configure the maps you want, what power-ups you want. It's very easy to do. And I know a lot of the people on this platform who are racing do that a lot for practice before the racing. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be using this time to stay sharp. So it's really easy to do. Anyone can do it. And as far as like leading, I think what I've learned is that you have to sort of meet the riders where they're at, whoever shows up, and understand what their skills and knowledge base are. And, just like if you go outside and you're like, oh, we're going to do an A group that's going to do, this speed. We're going to have a B group that's going to do this speed. Communicating what the expectation is in terms of pace, what the expectation is in terms of, if you're going to be working on drafting, if you're going to do pace line work. So it's kind of just sort of communicating up front and seeing what people want to work on. And this is all of us just kind of riding and chatting. So we're not like having specific objectives, but I find that there's so many things you can do in a group ride setting to improve your gameplay, to improve your racecraft that, it's really fun. So I know that Velocity wants to do some events, some community events. We haven't shaken out what those are beyond the team practice stuff we want to do. We want to do some events that involve the community as a larger whole. So be on the lookout for those. But anyone can do it. It's super simple. It takes you 5 minutes, not even 5 seconds. Maybe 5 minutes the first time, 5 seconds the second time.
How many breaths did you take during that whole explanation? It just kept going. You ride your bike. I mean, it's impressive, Beth. I know how difficult it is to try and, make sense
and I'm
when
like,
you're riding.
I would say that as a leader, spin instructor for years, that's the biggest thing is like, it's almost like singing, right? You're like using the right breath, but let's see, my heart rate's still okay. But, right now my mic's wide open. When I'm shouting over music, I have a microphone. I can turn it down to take those gasping inhales. It's a little more revealing here if you were to listen to me struggle. So,
that'd be hilarious. Imagine some people would like that, like a spin class ASMR or a CVRcade ASMR class. That. Like somebody just oh my goodness, we've just opened a whole other pot. We're not, whatever, moving on.
Someone want to lay down some beats. Someone has like, I don't know, garage band and just like some brony.
Sorry to interrupt there. So Victor had to get a new phone. So his old phone, a Samsung, was just broken. It started in the beginning, bottom left was the only thing that was turning dark on his screen, and then every day the virus would just spread across his screen. So at the end, half of it was invisible. Then he went out and got the latest iPhone. That has GarageBand on it, and in his spare time, which he doesn't really have much of, he's sitting there creating songs, and I just hear him laughing and snickering in the corner. And then he plays the song, and I'm like, what is this? So I told him to share it with the community, but he's too embarrassed. So we need some peer pressure, Beth.
You know what? I'll apply that peer pressure. I'll say, give me something that's 180 beats per minute. I'll throw it into one of my activities, whether it's a workout or a group ride. I'll throw it in, and it'll be fun. I have my husband is a musician, so I'm like, I'll use his I think Sebastian would really dig his music because he in the 90s he was up in a punk band and stuff. So it's just kind of fun to play with different tempos, and after a while, you don't really hear the music anymore. You're just kind of bopping along, which is kind of fun. So, yeah.
Now,
I will peer pressure him.
I like that. So what do people think of the current pace? What do people think about the current level of intensity that we're displaying here? Beth, quickly, do you like this? Do you want it to be easier? Do you want them to go harder?
Well, in general, in terms of equalized watts, if you're around 250 equalized watts, that's sort of like a solid zone 2 effort. So some people may or may not know what that means, but zone 2 should be conversational. So if someone is feeling, and of course that depends on your fitness, right? If you haven't been exercising for a long time, it might feel a little bit more uncomfortable, like, oh my God, how is she talking? But right now I think I'm 166, so I'm in Z1 at that point, drafting the bot in front of me. So if you are having trouble keeping up, tuck behind a rider, get that 40% draft so that you can be doing 40% less work than the person in front of you. So if I'm doing a comfortable zone 2, 250 equalized watts, someone else behind me should be able to. And that usually translates into, like 36 kph. So I think that a lot of people too kind of translate speed in CVRcade. We pay a lot of attention to that. So looks like I froze up there. I don't know if you got all that,
No,
but anyway.
I got it. You're back. No, we'll make sure. We'll make the rounds here, Beth. We've heard Beth's opinion. Sounds like she's happy with the way it is right now. Drafting can make a difference. We can go. Ryan is currently the sweep. I don't think Ryan is that. He's fine at the back. Let's go and chat with Daniel currently. He's sitting second place on the top. Daniel, what do you make of the current pace? Do you like it? Do you want it to be easier? Do you want it to stay here? Or do you want it to go a bit quicker?
Current pace is pretty good. I have like a decent heart rate going on. Horsing around with like the draft on the side of people, so it's good practice. But yeah, not terribly out of breath. I think I'm getting like just the right sort of stimulus out of this, so I'm happy.
What are you looking for? So you're saying you're getting the right amount of stimulus out of it. What are you looking for to get that?
I'm basically looking at my power meter, trying to keep it around 250 to 300, and then drop into the draft and relax. But just a slight burning in the legs, nothing crazy. You can still talk. Just to spin all the workouts out from yesterday, and then still be fresh enough to come play again Saturday.
Got it. Thank you, Daniel. Let's hear from Homer and Elizabeth as well, as they're also further down. Homer, a veteran when it comes to group rides. Homer, what do you make of the current pace? Do you like it?
Oh yeah, this is a good group ride pace. Yep, this is great.
Are you happy? Because when we look, compared to Monday and Friday when we ride with Beth, there's a significant more amount of riders in here today. What do you think of the increased amount of users riding with you?
I love it. I think we need more.
I like that. What does Elizabeth think? Does she like the current pace? Does she want it to go easier or harder? Or staying here?
I'm good for now.
That's good. That's what we like to hear, Elizabeth. Keep riding on. You only got 500 meters on this one left. Then you get a break before we head into the next group ride, which is on Cade Peak. Thank you to Homer and Elizabeth, both streaming in. We also have Allison Kubota, but fortunately Allison does not have audio. She can hear us, but I don't think she can talk back to us. But Allison, can you give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you like the current pace? Oh, she may not actually be able to hear me, but all looks to be fine. 300 meters left on this one, and then this ride is over. The first one, we do have 2 zones of this, so if you missed this first one, you can join in along the way if you want, as I think Nigel is trying to sprint for the finish line. But Nigel, ye shall be held back here as there is a leader super activated, which means you can't go by it. So even though if you try it, you can't come on through. So the first one is down. If you want to join us throughout this ride, the group ride, you can do so between events, as we just see the animation of everyone smacking their hands down there. Something we don't often see in the broadcast, as the rider has to finish itself. But because we have a sweeper, the cameraman is getting pulled along as well. I'm not sure that everybody's being brought to the next map here, so we'll just go to a map and then hopefully perhaps it'll bring us to the next one. And yes, it has done. I do see we have several riders waiting for us here in the next event, so it's good to see the community coming along here. And if you have feedback as well, if you're riding and you're not broadcasting in and you do have feedback you want to share, we are open. Like, we want to chat. We're on CVRcade Riders, on Facebook, the support in the game, here in the broadcast, in the comment section. Whatever feedback you have, whether you're riding this currently, like Wim, Badger, Christian, Quentin, or you're in the chat watching it like Aaron is and everybody else. Give us some feedback, give us some thoughts in of the ride that we are seeing here, as I see a few riders are coming in. It's interesting though, because we made the rounds. Before we do a broadcast, Victor and I, we make the rounds. We figure out who's going to be in today, because the way we broadcast is through a software called vMix. It only has 8 slots for bringing in people when you have the highest license. And we made the rounds. And there was a lot of people who are like, I rode outside, I may not. I see almost everybody who is like, I'm going to skip this one. They're in now. So there must be something that is making people getting in here as Quinton Molyneux is on with a keyboard. Ryan Goldenberg had the experience as a sweeper the first time around. Ryan, what's your philosophy as a sweeper? What can other users expect of you and the way you use your sweeper functionality?
Yeah, so I was trying to kind of stay within sight of the front group, but not be in the front group for most of that ride. So, if people want to kind of take a little bit of a break, they can drop back to my group and they can do as little work as they want, and they'll maintain the same speed as me. So I was probably doing a similar effort to, the front of the lead group. I was just maintaining that gap. And if they're in my group and they want to get back up to the front, it should just take a little bit of effort because they were already going at the sweeper group speed. So it's pretty neat the way the dynamic works. Again, I've never been the sweeper, but that's kind of how I've been playing it.
Now, on Cade Peak, there is a climb in the middle. Does that change the way you think about sweeping in an event, or how does that function?
I don't think so. Not in a casual group ride. Again, I'll try to maintain that same kind of that same gap from the front group. Maybe leave a little bit of room just, for the people that want to go a little bit extra, they can stay with the front, but I don't think it'll change too much. I mean, it's a windier course. It's longer. Actually, I don't know if Cape Peak is longer than Cityscape, but it's windier, so you won't be able to necessarily see the group ahead of you, but trust me, they'll be there.
Good news. We've got 30 riders in here, I see, and it's cross-platform. So we have guys and girls. We have people from all across the world, all different nationalities. I see the Swedish chef in here. I see Wim Moisen in here. I see Nils Heldens, the Tempest. We got the Glitter Queen Beth York out of the US of A. We got the Nightmare Nigel Doyle out of New Zealand. All these riders are in here on either keyboard, physically, or on an Xbox controller. And they're just chatting via the in-game audio widget, or they're chatting through the stream here. It's good to see everybody is in here. And so while we still have 2 minutes to go before the group ride begins, you do have supers available. By the way, you should know you can crash on this one. So if you haven't already crashed here in the warm-up, be aware, uncrashable is not an ability here in the second event. So if you do overlap the wheels, you'll crash, but there is Ryan Goldenberg as a sweeper. He'll help bring you back, and you also have comeback kit supers that will help you bring you back if need be. But with 2 minutes to go, let's go and chat with Beth once more, because this is Beth's territory, group rides. We've seen a big development in it. Beth, I know you and I will be riding. I think Homer, Elizabeth, and Kevin will be there tomorrow as well for the Rise and Rip group ride. When is it? What is it? And how do people join in?
Yeah, it starts at 5:35 PST, which is 12:35 GMT. Took this obstacle here. And, basically we've been doing it over the course of weeks, and it started as sort of like an onboarding ride. And, some new people who are coming on and not knowing how to navigate the UI. And, some people watch videos, some people don't. But it was just sort of a comfortable, approachable place for someone to come and ride and not be intimidated. Because when we watch the racing, people are so crazy good. And there's this appearance of like, I don't know, not everybody's a racer. Let's just put it that way. And I think that what the rides can do is make people sort of understand how fun the game is and say, well, wait, now that I'm kind of getting the hang of it and I'm good at it, maybe I'll give racing a try. Not because I'm trying to go after the big prize, but because I want to see some improvement. I want to progress in the game. And so we've kind of grown with the user base, and we practice different things. 1 week there was tractor beam in the World Cup racing. So we spent just laps and laps and laps on Sci-Fi R that was going to be raced that weekend practicing tractor beam. And so there's a lot of knowledge sharing that goes on, which is really cool because, people will see something we talk about. Hey, did you see that move? And It's kind of like a current state of the state. All right, no one's blasting out of the gate here. 10 seconds quantum shift. Okay, so making sure I was in the right position here. So, it's a really fun, welcoming format. And if anyone who hasn't joined, I encourage you to. The best part about it is, there's our regulars and our awesome people like Homer who are really familiar with the platform, who are really known in the community that can offer their point of view. So it's not just like, I lead it, I provide the format, but it's really about the users who show up, not about, this ride. So come, bring your questions, come for like 20 minutes and check out. A lot of people do that before work. Like, oh, I only had 20 minutes and I wanted to, ask you a question, or I got to go to a doctor's appointment. And, it's just good fun. So tomorrow, 5:35 PST. I haven't figured out what tracks we're going to do. So CVRcade riders, if anyone has special requests for tomorrow, oh, watch out. Boom, just made it. That's the part. I think I remember seeing someone like whack into that. And that's the other thing. Like, so I know some people like to get on their bikes, put their heads down inside and just do like a hammer fest and get sort of their exercise out. But the social rides are really fun. And you're not so much feeling like, oh my God, or I'm bored, I want to watch Netflix, or, you're actually always engaged in the game. And I love this track, by the way. This track is fun. I'm going to watch what Ryan's doing, because I think I'm sweeping on the next event. So I'm like, that'll be a new experience for me. So always something to learn.
You know what we should do, Beth? Now that we're going to have more of these in the next 2 weeks, we should have a Beth Rise and Rip in the evening. Like this right here, you lead it, because right now I'm, I guess, leading it with my voice, I guess, while Tim and Ryan are out there. But would you be game for, turning one of these Cade group activities into a Rise and Rip?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Happy to do it. I think the other really fun thing too, is as you get into it, is like, there are all kinds of things that we don't talk about even in our Cade corner. Like I'll get on and I'll ride, and I will be like just working with a bot to like practice coming into the draft without bumping. And at the end of it, I'm like, oh gosh, how did I do? How many bumps did I have? And, those kinds of things where we've seen like Modi do challenges and different things. So, I hope that all the community, I'd be happy to do Rise and Rip, but I think there's so many different fun things that I'm totally open to what the community wants to do as well.
Well, I think also something to potentially raise is like, as we see Vanessa go down who's riding physically, you can crash in this one, as mentioned before. Thank you, Beth. You can crash in this one, but there is a sweeper. You will be brought back and you'll be brought up to speed. Something I think could be interesting is also having community members, such like Casey Shum, like, would you be up for maybe leading one of these and sharing your wisdom? Because I think this is the time to come together as a community. You can chat about what needs to be chatted. We heard about Daniel and his service and his yoga, as I think Tim just crashed there. I think Tim crashed around the corner, which forced everybody to come to a standstill. So what happened there, I think Tim overcooked the corner, and when he goes down, nobody can pass him. And now, just like an accordion, they've got to get stretched back out and get riding as Tim is trying to move on up. So definitely testing new things that have not really been seen recently, but having like different members of the community, leading these rides, I think could be really interesting, because Timothy Tamont has a bunch of knowledge when it comes to high skill technical maps. I know he currently leads Aaron Starlin's Electric Rush Challenge. Casey Shum, Quinton Molinez, two of the people with the most physical riding knowledge that is interesting as well. And I think this is an opportunity to really, just explore that environment and seeing what it would be like. So this one, it looks like the main emphasis on today's group ride is to get a feel for what a group ride on CVRcade is like. It's an activity where everybody is together. By the way, the reason you're seeing that message saying you crashed into a disabled lane, it's because our cameraman is being pulled along just like the rest. He's standing still. He's ever so often will hit a disabled lane. Just disregard that. I am seeing that Wim Moisen is in on 2 machines. I like that. He's in both on his PC and on his Xbox as he falls down. But I think the emphasis today on this group ride is coming on here and exploring the possibilities of what CVRcade has to offer. Because I think for many, they may not have ventured across the menus. They may not have tried some of the other events possible. And now here at a prime time slot, broadcasted on Mixer, you know, we got all these riders in, trying something new. As we do these more, as we'll be doing them over the next 2 weeks here on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, I think we're going to bring in different emphasis. Like it can be... One day it may be Casey Shums, if he's willing to do it, teachings on something, or it might be Beth York's Rise and Rip, or it can be casual group ride where the main topic is just to ride and chat and have no objective whatsoever. So it's an interesting extension as we see riders making an appearance here for the first time in a bit. So we see looking towards the front here as we got Alison Kubota on the screen. I'm not sure what the max speeds are here on Cade Peak, but we do have several riders that do maybe know. Daniel, how well versed are you with the max corner speeds here on Cade Peak?
Not too well versed. I think they're all over 40 and 30, depending on if you're turning right or left. I know the last sharp before the big sweeping right is 50, but I usually just have a map printed off for a quick reference so I can just glance over before I hit a corner, make sure I'm doing the right thing, and then go back to focusing on the racing. It's usually the ones that are focused or are featured more heavily in the Omniums I know pretty well, because I'm usually so legged out I have to memorize not only the course, but what lane I'm in, and operate mostly off the mini-map, so.
Interesting. Are you... Sorry?
I try not to memorize the speeds if I don't really need to, because there's so much other stuff I have going on. Crappy PC.
That is true. Are you looking to potentially upgrade your PC?
I am, actually. I've been asking kind of repeatedly about Amp Plus on the Xbox, because I'd much rather drop $600 on an Xbox in the holidays when it comes out and race effectively on that than $1,000 on a PC that I'm going to be scared to pick up and move into my solarium. So we'll see what happens.
We will see, but that's definitely something that will open a few possibilities when Amp Plus, or when you can connect your bike through the Xbox. So hopefully we see you on that, Daniel. But it's impressive what you've been able to do with your computer so far. And so I think it'll be exciting to see once you've got a fully functional machine supporting you out as well. As we go to the back here, the sweeper Ryan. So this is the back of the group. He's sitting here with Homer. He's got Nigel further up. If we can go to Homer here, I'd like to get... Oh, as Beth goes down. I'd like to get the impression here, because Homer, the first event had Uncrashable on. It was completely flat. Here, the second event, you can crash, and it's a bit more hilly. How would you compare the two, and which have you liked better so far?
Oh, I like them both. But I mean, this one you do have to keep your head in the game here, or you're going to crash. So, but no, they're both fun.
Both fun. Cool. Thanks, Homer. Have you crashed so far on this one?
Not yet.
Stay. Oh, I just saw Elizabeth go down. Well, good thing we've got the sweeper. Hopefully she can get back up. But everybody looks to be having fun. Thank you, Homer. Something that we're all... Oh, no! That one's on me, Homer. That one is on me. Sorry. As Homer hits the rock as I was the commentator's curse. Something that we're also experimenting while we've got these group riding broadcasts is you may have known that we're trying to solve our slide. Oh, Allison goes, look, Mom, no hands. I got no hands. Also, I saw Niels Heldens with 4 Quantum Shift Supers. Now, I know 1 is powerful, but I'm not sure that adding 3 more to it achieves much more. Now you can officially go through everybody 4 times more efficient. Something we're trying to solve as well during this time, where we're having fun with group rides, is the slight stutter you may see come now. Up until this point, it should have been quite solid, but I think that might be something that might happen going forward here in the broadcast, but we're still, as always, cognizant trying to solve this. Wim says, this is a nice cruise control on Xbox. I don't have to push acceleration all the time. No, Wim, I had a go just for fun at one of Aaron's challenges on the controller, and it hurts. Like, having to hold down a controller for a period of time, you let it go at the end, you're like, okay, that kind of hurt. So for some of the longer maps where you've got to hold down the power button, it's not exactly easy to do. I see that Tim, who's currently leading for the first lap, averaged 230 equalized watts, it sounds like. I hear that Badger may like it to be quicker. I think we can go back here and get a take further down from the rest as well. So Wim, Kayla, I see everybody towards the back. There's good to see Jeff out here. It's good to see Nigel. I know it's very early in the morning for them as they are down in New Zealand. So they are getting up early here and being part of the group, right? Well, let's go back here. Let's go and chat with Ryan, because I think I've noticed his surprise. I think I clocked what Ryan is trying to do here. Ryan, I like it. I like the idea, but do you think you're going to be able to pull it off?
I missed the last part of that. Julian, come here.
Oh, no worries. I see Channel 1 has just joined us at this time as well. So, Channel 1, welcome very much. Welcome to the channel here. What you are seeing. We'll come back to Ryan in just a second, because, I see Ryan is being joined by his young one. We'll go back to him in just a second, because Channel 1, what you are watching here, and I see 855 of you, is riders from all across the world. They're riding together. They're riding their bikes from their home. If we cut to Alison Kubota, you'll see what it looks like as they are in their sheds, they're in their garages, they're in their conservatories, they're in their gym, they're in whatever, their bedroom, whatever location they may have their bike stationary. So that's their own physical bike attached to something called a trainer, which replaces the back wheel, and then you ride your own bike. That sends the signals to your computer or your Xbox, and then you move. So this is Alison Kubota's avatar in the game. You'll see matching kit in real life and in the game, Cognition female kit. If she chooses to steer right, if she chooses to steer left with the arrow keys, the avatar will match. So if she chooses to accelerate, the avatar will do that as well. You see Frank Garcia and Allison down here getting a draft off each other as they enter the incline. Now Allison comes around, she accelerates. Also out of Canada, we've got Daniel LeBlanc, who usually is freezing, usually has got layers upon layers as we see Badger go down. That's another element. There are obstacles on some maps. If you hit a rock, you will go down. So you got Daniel LeBlanc on the screen. We've also got Homer Thompson. He's riding with his wife currently as they sit side by side here, as you can see. So they can crash, they can ride, they can have this full gamified experience while getting fit. And then the kicker is that it is free to play. So Homer and everybody else in here, they've downloaded the game from CVRcade.com. They have gotten in, they've paired their devices, and now we're doing a group activity where riders from across the world are riding together, chatting, socializing while getting in their fitness. In this ride, there is a leader and there is a sweeper, meaning that everybody is together. Nobody can go off the front and nobody can get off the back. So everybody is ensured a good experience of staying together. I see we've got Agent of Bad Karma saying hi. How are you doing today, Agent of Bad Karma? Thank you very much for joining in. So today we're doing a group activity. Usually, or normally, we also have races as well at this given time. We have races where riders can win heaps of prize money by utilizing brilliant skills, by having all sorts of practice pay off, off when they ride their bike and they beat the competition. You got a total prize purse of $30,000 in the CVRcade World Cup. And these guys and girls, they're riding it. And thanks to something called physical equalization, everybody is able to, compete and ride together and race together here in CVRcade. As now we're coming to the end of the second event here on Cade Peak. After this, we've got Country Rally. So it looks like everybody can't help themselves but try and sprint from the line as we see Daniel LeBlanc. We got Beth York smiling as well. You got Ryan Goldenberg, the sweeper on this ride, smiling as well. So if you want to join in and you want to ride with us, you can do so right now. You can ride non-physical on a keyboard or a controller. So if you're seeing this group ride, if you're seeing this activity and you want to join in, download right now and you can be in. You got 6 minutes until the next event starts. And then the next Omnium, the next zone, starts at the top of the hour. So in 15 minutes, a whole nother set of 3 rides begins. So 2 group rides and a little fun afterburner. So if you want to join us in, you can do so. So this is from home, by the way. This is riders from their home. These are people from across the world. We got Ryan Goldenberg here, who literally has his whole family around him as he's doing this. I think he's going to turn the camera here for us. He's got his little young one. We can turn on Ryan. Is he going to join us? Oh, you got multiple.
Oh yeah, it's a busy day here in the Goldenberg household, as it is everywhere, I'm sure.
Looks like you're inspiring some fitness there. It's looking
I think
good.
so, yeah.
Thank
Hook up some Amp Plus sensors to that thing.
Well, thank you, Ryan. So, as always, these people are doing it from home. They don't have to leave their house. They don't have to get in a car and go to the gym. This can be done from home right now. The game is free to play, and you can get in that fitness, that physical well-being feeling of doing something, and you can do that free to play on CVRcade from your home. You get your own bike to either a PC or very soon as the adapters coming to Xbox that will allow you to hook up your bike to the Xbox. Currently, you can ride with a controller, but if you want to be able to ride physically to Xbox, that's coming too. Maybe you heard Daniel LeBlanc mention it earlier. So this one is a bit more of this is an event that you can choose to go a bit hard in if you want to, or you can choose to let go. There's no leader, there's no sweeper, so you can pretty much do whatever you want. It's country rally, it's 5 laps. It is just to, blow off some steam if you need to. Then after this, in 10 minutes time, there is another show happening, which will be Cityscape New York, and it will be Cade Peak as well, and again. So Agent of Karma says download CVRcade. Charlie Boy says great way to stay active while being inside. Yeah, this is something we've been working on for a good few years now. We're in beta, we're pushing it through here, and it's just something that's able to rally our community together, able to rally everybody together, really, who wants to ride. Gamers and those who are into fitness or cyclists can do this, and it's important to state this, that anybody can do this thanks to an algorithm, thanks to a feature called physical equalization. So if you've ever ridden outside with a friend or a family member, you may have disliked how they climb the hill faster than you, or they can ride for longer than you. That doesn't really apply to CVRcade, because physical equalization allows everybody to ride together through this process of getting equalized. So if I'm giving 100% and you're giving 100%, we will be going at the same speed. We'll be going at the same pace in the game. Now, granted, there are certain skill levels that you pick up over time that gives it nuance. There are certain supers that allow you to have advantages, but everybody has the same super, so it's how you deploy them. And again, I can't stress this enough. This is from your home, so you do not have to leave. You hook up your bike to a turbo trainer, and that hooks up to your game. So, is there any better time to get on an indoor turbo trainer, to get on your bike and get fit? This is a free-to-play game where you can win money, you can ride with others, you can get fit, and you can have a good experience. We will see. So, It's going to be fun. Country Rally, 2 minutes to go here. We do have riders from across the world. Beth York usually also does the commentary, or basically does everything. She commentates, she races, she rides, she leads the classes. Beth, we've got all of Channel 1 here. You've heard my spiel, but Beth, you're currently on the bike. What's, like, quickly, in 1 minute, sum up the essence of CVRcade?
I'm on my bike. I have power in my legs that's powering the pedals, and that's driving my avatar through this virtual map. Dynamics of being outside. There's a lot of strategy to this particular map, and we're going to do it as a race. And this map requires left and right and positioning and avoiding obstacles so that you don't crash. A lot with these skill events that are really about getting out in front and forcing the people behind you to make mistakes. But for those of you who are new to watching this, the real beauty is that you were talking a little bit about equalization, and it doesn't. If you play golf, you can kind of understand what that means. You're handicapped in a way that's kind of the wrong word in this regard, but if you play golf, you understand what that means, that everyone can compete against each other. And that aspect of this game, I just love riding with my teammates. I just love that we can compete together. We can talk strategy. I was just about to hop on my headphones, but this is the one, Channel 1, you should stick around. Viewers should stick around for this to see how it's raced. If you've never seen it before, it's going to be super fun. So thanks for the floor. Back to you.
Thank you, Beth. I'll pick up the microphone from here. Agent of Karma, by the way, shout out for you to be in here as well. See, you say you watch every stream. So again, free to play is the motto of CVRcade. We have been called the Fortnite of physical esports, which is pretty cool. So if you want to get in, you can go. Agent of Bad Karma says, I want to play, but it's not ready. Or are you downloading right now, Agent of Karma? Let me know, man. I will be watching here. I'll personally give you the biggest shout out in the world. There's another zone after this. So there in 8 minutes time, sets of 3 races. Sorry, it's 3 group rides. Again, so if you want to join in, you can ride with that Agent of Bad Karma. Great name. I mean, Lantrell Storm. We had Wim Moisen in there. We have some good names. DK Mansuni is good. Now, this is being ridden like an aggressive ride from a few I see on the front. Now, this was meant to have Racer's Edge as an ability, but it looks like the events team may have dropped the ball on that. But this was meant to have that bit of assisted push. Because Racer's Edge ability, now there are supers and there are abilities. So just like in Fortnite, you gotta walk around, you gotta like smash down trees, and you build ramps, and you collect up, you open chests, you collect up guns, and you know, all these shields and stuff. We have supers and we have abilities in this. So supers, they give you a boost for a duration of time. It can be 10 seconds, it can be 5 seconds, it can be 45 seconds, it can be whatever the events creator sets it to. Then there are abilities. There are certain supers that are set on for all of time. So as Quentin goes down there, but Racer's Edge as a super, as Casey Shum uses here, is powerful for 10 seconds. But if it's an ability and it's always on, it's even more powerful, and it really just adds that bit of jeopardy. As have you done your research? Do you know the maps? As I see, I got Cranky Old Nerd. Did not know Victor Lundqvist was in the chat. Well, it's good to see you in there, Cranky Old Nerd. Thanks for the I get it rolling, guys. Good to see you as well. Let us know. Casey Shum with another corner caper here. So 5 laps of this. Now, without Racer's Edge as an ability, I'm not sure if we can finish this in 6 minutes. I think we may be able to. But if at any point you want to drop out, don't feel like you want to race this with the rest and you want to go as hard, you have no obligation to. You can always make sure you make it to the next one. The next zone is 18:10 is what I am seeing. So the next zone starts 10 minutes past the hour. So you have plenty of time on that. So no reason to worry about that. Pink Sauce has subscribed to the channel. Pink Sauce, everybody. I know Ryan is suffering right now, but Ryan, can you just share your appreciation for Pink Sauce?
Oh, Pink Sauce, I love you. Thanks for tuning in.
There you go, Pink Sauce. Loved it. Now, that was one for Ryan. I think we need to go through. Beth, quick appreciation. Pink Sauce 910174. Subscribe to the channel.
Repeat that. Sorry.
No worries. No worries.
I'm good.
Second place.
Thank you.
See,
Was
Pink
he rooting
Sauce.
for me or was he rooting against me?
Everything. He was rooting for you, and he was rooting against you. He wanted you to crash. He wanted to get supers. So, yeah. Pink Sauce is definitely the main VIP of the moment here. I'll let you get back to
Thank you.
as Casey Shum and Beth are pushing it on the front. Agent of Karma says, I played one game. Well, come in here and play with us here on the next set of events. So the riders are having a bit of fun on this one, blowing off some steam, and it should be fun to see the next zone. We also have a zone later tonight. So if you are not riding with us right now and you're seeing this and you want to do it at your time, you can do so later tonight. Zone T, which is about 7 hours now, 8 hours from now, that starts during that time. So the riders are racing through the corners and they are crashing, they are over speeding it. So we're gonna see what comes on through. So we're gonna see what happens here. Just reading through. There's a whole team chat of feedback coming through, so I'm making sure I'm just catching thing here. But some riders are racing this corner speeds. You're looking at some of the corners. You're looking at like 42, 43. But this is again where the likes of Casey Shum, Nigel Doyle, Frank Garcia can tell you much more exact numbers, because you know it can really be the difference sometimes. Just going 0.01 over can be a lot. Grammy says, what the? Well, Grammy, welcome to the chat. I'm not sure you heard the spiel before. We go back and do it again. So, Grammy, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. What we're watching is something called CVRcade. It is a physical esports platform that's free to play that you can ride from your home. So it's essentially an online fitness game that allows you to get in exercise without ever having to leave your house. You see Alison Kubota, she's riding from her house. We've got Homer Thompson as well, riding from his house in his garage. Right next to him is his wife, Elizabeth. Now, they're riding their own bikes from their homes connected to this thing called a trainer. It replaces the back wheels. Now, they could also ride a spin bike. They could also have an exercise bike if they have one that connects with the game. So they ride. The quicker they pedal, just like Daniel here, the quicker the rider in the game moves. They can choose to change lane to the right or change lane to the right. So steering is turned on. They can crash if they hit an obstacle. Now, that can be turned on and off at any time, really. Or you can come through a corner and you can go too quickly, like Frank Garcia just overlapped the wheels with Beth and he fell down. Now, this game is free to play and it's built in the foundation of esports. So you ride this with your legs, and that's kind of the power of the controller. Is the effort you put down on your legs, and then through the skill you pick up from the hours of riding and mastering the maps. When you then play it competitively, because today we are focusing on the group activities here, which is more of a group ride. When you do play it competitively, you could be racing and riding for $30,000 or for a share of that. And that's why you're seeing riders like Beth York pushing through on the front here with the rest. But it's no surprise to really see Casey Shum be mastering it on the front here, going on through. We got Clap, who's in the chat as well, say yeah. Well, say woo, say you. I don't know. How do you want to finish that one, Clap? I see 40 of you have stuck around after channel 1. Well, if you have clicked the follow button down below, you are just as awesome as Pink Sauce. You're 99% to being Pink Sauce. We'll hold Pink Sauce up, but you're 99% there. But if you now click it, definitely 99.999 there. Every follow helps out the channel immensely. You'll get notifications when we go live, and you can get up to date on all the riding and ins and outs of this rising physical esports platform that by some has been called the Fortnite of physical esports. It's a lot to take in, I know. Like, if you watch this for the first time, you just sit in your chair and you're like, wow. And honestly, I think everybody goes through a phase, but once you start understanding the corner speeds, the obstacles, the drafting, the supers, the abilities, and you understand the simple, the hidden simplicity, because at first it can be quite overwhelming, but once you understand the key basics of the game, it becomes such an enjoyable watching experience and also a riding experience. As Casey Shum will come on through further back, looks like the rest are having a bit of a ride on through. Ryan, Carl, and Beth, as we can see over the shoulder here, coming through the start line. Now, next zone does start in 10 minutes time. As Ryan, Frank, the rest come on through. We go to Cityscape New York City once more. I believe in the chat now in the stream here we'll have Jennifer Garcia join us for that hour of riding as well. But let's get some opinions here. Let's get some feedback. Let's hear from Daniel LeBlanc out of Canada. Daniel, the events down here. How did you like this set of Omnium with 2 group rides, one with Uncrashable, one without, and then a bit of a kicker here in the end?
Yeah, that was really fun. I like how you're always in a group, always having fun with the other riders. The first one, stretch out legs and learn about the draft. The second one, kind of same thing, except you learn how you can get punished.
Oh, I think that Jennifer Garcia may just have been joining in, so fortunately, we can always hear Daniel's feedback later as he comes back in. So on CVRcade, Riders is the place to be as Jennifer Garcia is joining in for 9 minutes time. We have Homer Thompson in here as well. And I have a sneaky suspicion. Hey, Homer, how did you enjoy that Omnium?
That was a good ride. It was fun.
Well, did you like how the setup with one ride was Uncrashable, then you could crash on K-Peak, and then you finished on this? Or anything you'd like to improve?
Yeah, this is a good variety. I like this.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Homer. Hopefully we see you sticking around. So, same for Elizabeth, who's in there. Now, Badger is coming across the line. I think we can join the next event when Badger comes across the line. See, Niels Heldens has also joined us in here into the broadcast. His opinion on the matter in just a second as we get ready for Cityscape New York City. Activity 1 of 3 here in Zone L. I see a lot of riders have stuck around. They want to get some more miles in, some more exercise, some more fitness as there we go on Niels Heldens. We can go and chat with Niels. Hey Niels, how did you find that first Omnium? A good hour?
I just did the second race, and it was quite fun. I didn't realize that I was the right leader until lap, because I kept getting pulled back on the climb. But yeah, interesting, quite an interesting ride.
Well, it looked like one for sure. I just realized we gotta go back to Homer here, because I totally for a second forgot that Elizabeth was standing right next to him and riding as well. So on that, I fall on my sword on that one. That's mine. But Homer, if Elizabeth can hear me, Elizabeth, what did you think of that last zone?
Oh, it was good. I had fun.
What was the standout point of that last? What was the highlight of the last hour?
I guess for me, riding with a bunch of people trying to avoid the obstacles.
Oh, so you like the second event most?
Oh, I liked all of them, but I mean, the second one was definitely more challenging.
Well, thank you. Well, that's excellent.
One.
That's surprising. I thought the first one may have been, but no, Homer. I see you two can get very competitive. I assume whenever you ride, it turns into who can ride faster than the other. Is that the case?
Yeah, it is kind of. I mean, kind of your quiet. That's almost the way it is. But yeah, I'm talking to Elizabeth. I'm trying. I really would like to see her get into a race because, like I said, she can hammer me on these tracks, and I think she would do well if she would just give it a shot.
I think so too, but I think we've got to be patient. I think, Elizabeth is like, when she goes, she's just going to take over the seat, but she doesn't want to dominate everybody just yet. She's waiting on her time, and we can all respect that. So, good luck to both of you here in the next zone as we get ready to ride more. Now, coming into this one, I believe Tim is again the leader. I think the responsibility of sweeper may have swapped, though. I think we can get confirmation on that. Beth, I think that you're the sweeper in this one. Is that correct?
I believe that I am, yes. And I was trying to kind of hang with Ryan on a couple of them just to kind of understand the dynamic, because I've not yet ridden as the sweeper. So I will do my best. But I think Niels was alluding to it, that I could get behind Ryan and stop pedaling. He could have towed me up. So if you were ever in a situation in the ride where you felt like you're getting dropped, and I'm going to be watching the board there. If I drop back and you just get on my wheel, you can stop pedaling. It seemed to be working that way. And I'll work to close down the gap. But I'm going to let a little thing happen in the middle to make sure that people can have the dynamics and follow the leader. But hopefully I will be able to do a good job for this zone as well as Ryan did. Ryan did a good job.
And I think Ryan also succeeded on choosing a new jersey for every map, so it's going to be fun.
He was swapping out. I know. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I wasn't going to give him the satisfaction of saying exactly what it was. I was going to play chicken with him to see if we can call it out, but we can go and discuss this with Ryan. Now the cat is out of the bag. Ryan, a new jersey for every map, and you're even matching in the game. I'll give you 30 points for that one. That's impressive.
I was going to say I finished 5th on Country Rally, which I was proud enough of, but I want to know from the commissioners where triple Lisper points puts me at the end. So it took you until Zone L to figure it out, but I clocked it. My son was like, "Why are you sweating so much, Daddy?" It's like, because I'm wearing three jerseys.
What sort of pace? Now you're no longer the sweeper. Now you're in the middle and you're a rider as well. What is your optimal pace? What are we looking for in this one?
My optimal pace, I might be done. I just want to maybe start this one. But I might hang with Beth for the, in the laughing group in the back, if that's what we are, just for a little bit. But yeah, my advice to Beth on the second event, Cade Peak, would be don't crash, because as the sweeper, if other people crash, they'll get pulled up by you. But if you crash, you're not going to pull yourself back up unless bikes can get you there. So try to avoid those obstacles.
Try and avoid them, but it sounded like Elizabeth was loving it out there. So maybe, I don't know. It's definitely interesting. So I am seeing from communication that's going out, I think we'll be targeting 250 equalized watts in this one. So if you're riding out there, you're in the group, I think I'm hearing that the front, the leader, that is Tim Fuller, will be targeting around 250 equalized watts, which I think accumulate to 35 to 36 kilometers an hour. There is a wind on this map, 7 kilometer an hour wind. If you're not seeing it, make sure to have your map metrics widget up and available, and so you should be able to see where the direction is coming from and the strength of it. So I'm sitting here, I'm getting news here that I am leaving it through the ride. So through voice, through the eye in the sky here, we're going to try and ride it on through. So there is a delay from streaming to Mixer. Now, Mixer does have a protocol called FTL. That means we can stream pretty much real time, something that we may explore to do rides like this. But I think we're looking at 250 equalized watts to be able to stay with the group. I think that equates to 35, 36. I will be doing my very best to call any adjustments as it goes along here. Essentially what I feel like, if those viewing out there are accustomed to cycling training strategy, I feel like the sports director on the little moped behind, where like he's got the little computer, he's got a microphone into the ear, he's like up, no, down, oh, the corner coming up here, gotta be on the left. So we're gonna try. We're gonna try. This is an experiment for everybody involved. Let's just, have some fun. I see Wim's in here in a controller. I see Casey's in a controller. I think joining us, US of A now, replacing Daniel LeBlanc here in the broadcast, we do have Jennifer Garcia as well, who is in here. So get all the waves. Tim Fulford is the leader, so make sure that you look for Tim Fulford in the riders nearby list. And Beth York, being the sweeper in here, is the rider near the back. You can't go behind her. So I know I see a few people accelerating. If you're first through fifth, look down the riders nearby list. Look for number 8, which is Tim Fulford, the current leader. So that applies to Kayla, to Wim, to Kate. Well, to Wim twice. Wim is in here on both a PC and an Xbox. So come back down. Daniel LeBlanc also now. So keep an eye at all times. You see him in the middle of the screen. He is going currently at 260 equalized watts at 35 kilometers an hour, and it looks comfortable. So I love the fact that I'm not riding this, and I get to call it. So if I feel really devious, I don't know if this actually would work, but like, okay, we're changing it to 1,000 equalized watts, 60 kilometers an hour. Come on, everybody! But do make sure to try and stick around. So with what the leader ability does, so the leader super, is that you can't pass the certain rider, and that rider in this instance is Tim Fulford. So even how hard you try it, you will not succeed. There's like an invisible barrier that you can't go past, and so that's why in the second you see Wim slam into a wall to the left. That happened there. Tim's going about 36 kilometers an hour. We can make the round here, and we can ask Jennifer, who's just joined in. Jennifer, riding this first event physical, what do you think of the current pace?
I think we need to pick it up.
No.
I've never done a group ride before. This is really good for me. Not having to do those like crazy sprints that we do out of the gate in racing, and it's a lot more casual. I've never done it. So that's why I feel like I pick up the pace, but I think I'll get the hang of it.
We'll pick it up quickly because we've got 4 laps of Cityscape New York City here, but I think Jennifer was serious about moving it up a tiny bit. We'll see. I think Homer is a good gauge for this. Homer, they've entrusted me with the ability of setting the pace. Not very wise, but Homer, would you like it to be quicker? Do you like it here? What do you think?
Oh, for a group ride, this is. It can be. That's fine too. I'm sitting behind somebody. Well, it works out fine for me.
I like it. I think this first lap, 35 kilometers an hour looks solid. You gotta also remember that the wind changes direction. So if you're not in the draft, 7 kilometers an hour can be quite rough at times. Thank you, Homer. Thank you, Jennifer, for the feedback as well. And so we're seeing on through. Make sure, by the way, if you are a controller, if you are a keyboard, have other riders in mind. This is a social ride. Like if Wim on the front, you can set the pace up and down. I know, you know what Wim does right now? Wim, like me, now this is empty, but Wim, like me, is having his cup of coffee. He's sitting there, he's just watching the stream, he's watching his avatar, he's like, Now, imagine I have a pillow behind me. Imagine I've got a white wall, and Wim is just like, I like this, Jesper. It's good. So, Wim, if you could come back, stay within the group. You can offer up a draft, Wim. Since you were on a keyboard, we could give a draft to some of the other right now. This is the other Wim who's in on a controller, who is now moving back up. But you can actually help. I know there's like some sort of like part of you that wants to go, I want to make these guys go quicker, as he's got 2 of his riders. I think we need to initiate a vote here. This is the island. I think we need to have a council meeting here for Wim Moisen. Let's start with Niels Heldens, his fellow Dutchman. Niels, what do you think of your fellow Dutchman's behavior out here?
He should be in jail. This is unbelievable. Acceptable. Over periods, halfway down the group, I honestly don't know what he's doing.
No clue either. No, we're seeing it. I like it. Should be in prison. Maybe a bit rough. I was just gonna send him off the island, but drastic measures to each their own. There's Heldens here. So we'll see. So far, I think the pace looks good here in the first lap. I think for the second lap, I think we may be looking to up it to maybe 37, maybe 38 for the second lap. I think might be something. If you got any objections to any of the pacing that gets just out into the air, do say something, just so we know. But I'm just looking at this, and I think maybe for the second lap, we look to up it to maybe 37, 38. That may be too fast. That may be too high. I'm just experimenting with what I'm seeing. I'm looking at the equalized heart rate. You're seeing someone like Homer at 132. You see someone like Jennifer at 170 here as well. So different riders, different stages of their group riding experience. Homer, I mean, he knows where to sit to get draft. You heard from Jennifer saying this is her first time in a group ride on CVRcade. So getting to the hang of it. So also, I think Mutt KG is also a good shout. Mutt KG. I think if you Mutt KG, they've entrusted us with the power. So I think you and I, we form a coalition here, and we now have the control. Like, you know, we're usually the reactionary type of people that sit here and commentate and react to what they're saying, but we now have the control to make them go faster or go slower. So let me know if you have any ideas, Mutt KG, and we can do so. Looks like the pace is being upped ever so slightly here, 38. So that is what's happening here as we get a fist bump or a little celebration from Jennifer. So 38 looks like to be around the pace here for the second lap. So see if you can stay with the group in here. So I'm getting suggestions for topics to talk about. So not only it's like leading a flock of sheep here with my voice. We're also going to try and chat through different conversationals. I like what Mutt KG is thinking as well. Is we've got the power now. We've got the power. So Mutt KG, if you have any fun suggestions, it can extend further. I think it can extend further than just speed and power. Because right now Tim is staying right down the middle. I think we should extend the power to do maybe one lap where everybody's in the left lane, one lap where everybody's in the right lane, one lap where everybody has to be in the same lane, or one lap where the sweeper and the leader can't be more than 5 meters apart. Now, I don't know the logistics of this, but different ideas to come up through. So last lap was a 6-minute lap. If anybody has if anybody wants it to go slower, just say so. But it looks like everybody is staying with the front group here, as everybody around 38 kilometers an hour. So potential discussions to be had. We've already had the most important discussion, which was the peak discussion. So that has been ticked off the board's primary list. But we could talk about the skins and the special bike. Something like, I think a misconception may be that nothing is really changing behind the scenes, because the massive update came out. The whole, device-based power curve came in. That really changed it. Talking about like special skins and special bikes, I mean, all that stuff is going to get so exciting when that comes in and becomes available, and more. Like, there's going to be seasons in CVRcade. We're already in Season 2. There's going to be more. Now we changed with the Journey Cup and the Solo Cup. When it progresses more and more and we get more and more riders on the platform, suddenly you can have... I'm just going to spitball here. You could have a Homer Thompson skin. You have Homer Thompson hair on your avatar. Or more importantly, Homer Thompson's magnificent beard in the game. I actually want to go and chat to Homer. Homer, if that would become available in the game, would you have it yourself? If you could buy a skin that had your magnificent beard, is that something you'd get?
Yeah.
I would have to agree. If I could buy that 10 times, and if they were stackable, so you could have hair that goes, a beard that goes all the way down to the floor, that I would pay good money for. So I like it, Homer. I think that should be in here. We're coming up to the conclusion of the second lap. This one has been a bit higher on the pace. I think we can hear from Ryan here. Ryan, we've upped it by 2 kilometers an hour since the first lap. Is that something that's been noticeable?
Definitely, if you look at the speeds, but if you're using the quantum shift, which, yeah, Allison is right now, up your draft, if you sit in the right spot, you won't really see that big of a increase in effort. But now I have to struggle to get back on. So maybe I do notice it. But no, it's good. I like the mix of.
Well, that's good, because I think for the next one we might just bring it down again. I think I think it's fine. I think we're fine. I think everybody got comeback. It's near the back here, so not much to worry about there. What else? Like, you have the Homer Thompson beard skin that might be able to get. I see, by the way, Future Wolfie is back. Welcome back to the stream, Feature. Thank you for tuning back. Where have you been, by the way? Like you said, it's been a while. Where have you been? I mean, we got tea here. We got supper. I'm expecting you here every time, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So it looks so far, Tim's at 36 right now here. He's staying in the middle. Everybody able to move around. For the second lap coming to an end, I think look to keep at 30 again here for the third lap. It looks like everybody roughly same equalized heart rate, around 140, high 140s, high 150s. So it looks like everybody is roughly at the same effort level in the game. Now we have the Homer Thompson beard. That would be the most iconic skin I think you'd get. What other iconic things could you get that would be in there? I mean, again, it's like Homer Thompson shirt ain't dead yet. Is something that could be a skin as well. This is just gonna happen. Oh, I see. My executive producer is like pointing me to the screen. You could have the Alison Kubota helmet, skin suit, TT helmet, aero helmet. That's pretty iconic too. You could have the Tim Fulford headband, but these are all very grounded. Like, I think they need to be like, is there anything that's like wild? Like, you could have the Glitter Queen. You could have a legit makeup, Beth York's Halloween costume. I mean, that as a skin would be quite a thing. Let's go and chat to Beth about that. Beth, from the Halloween stream, that's what I remember most vividly. Would you get that if that was in the game? Like, what would you get? Here's the real question. If you could only have Homer Thompson's beard skin or Glitter Queen skin, which would you choose?
That's such a tough call, because I would pay both, because, man, it'd be fun to ride with both. I envision this, like, purple hair, kind of Glitter Queen, futuristic, like maybe retro 80s, like with the face paint, How's the picture in Riders of like what the Glitter Queen avatar would ideally look like? It's probably gonna be like a marriage between a number of different things, but I would love a Homer Thompson skin. And if we ride and Homer's leading, we all need to be wearing it. It would be like just a whole parade of Homer on course. It'd be so fun.
That's literally like a flash mob. I would love that. I don't know what else.
Well, yeah, then he has to decide on his moves, right? We have Nigel's, right? And
celebrations. Could you
what would
Nigel's
Homer's
dance?
celebration be? Yeah, Nigel's dance, and so we need to do some celebrations in there too, because those are super fun. I mean, when I'm riding and I don't always get the finish first, but when I'm leading, I still get first. I think everybody should be able to get one of those like celebrations. Maybe not their own, but so that they can like go, oh, when I cross the line, I want to see myself.
What we need, Beth? This is going to be so iconic. We need Casey's, stirring the pot, like celebration or emote. Like when he's like, take a turn! Like just like him taking his finger and stirring it around in the air.
The elbow flick or the what have I seen? Like, I think I've seen someone like pass someone and be like, step aside, or come on, bring it in,
Oh, Niels, We need. Oh, I want to. Can we go to Nils as well? Sorry, I want to go to Nils because I've literally just had the epiphany as well. That Nils, your celebration is quite iconic as well. You know the Sebastian Vettel one.
I wouldn't say it's not mine anyway. So yeah, I had that in the game. Should be fun. Or would be fun.
So now your question is, Nils, Homer Thompson's beard, Beth York's Glitter Queen, or Nils Helden's Sebastian Vettel impersonation? You can only have one. Which one?
I would go with the skin, which is a Pope that is wearing a bulletproof vest. Whilst wearing underwear, that would probably be the best thing, in my opinion. There's something completely bonkers to put that in the game. But if I had to pick out of those, yeah, I gotta go with her because that would be her to have. And that is proper iconic, isn't it?
I think so too. No one can blame you on that one. I mean, that's really going to change the aesthetics of the game, because right now on the screen you can see all the riders, and then once you change it around, I think that will be very, very... You can just go on and on. I mean, I think more can come up. You know, you have the Nigel Doyle one, which I rudely cut off bad, but it's more... You know when you get an epiphany and you're like, oh my god, gotta go. Since it's more of a group ride anyway, so you just go... And you gotta go talk about it. We'll stay on the emotes, we'll stay on the skins, because I think that's a really healthy discussion, and I think we've barely scraped the surface, and I think there may be some good ones coming on through. Austin Wyatt is asking, is anyone joining Zone T later? Yes, I believe a lot of people will be coming back. I think this is a good experience from what we're hearing from a lot of riders, and I think you don't get so physically fatigued, you need to rest for too long. This is a good experience. I've neglected my duties as ride leader for a few minutes as I got caught up in skins and emotes land. Looks like Tim is going at 33 here, so we've got one lap to go. I think staying at 38 is fine. It looks like everybody's able to hang on. Jennifer at 172, Frank is at 129, the rest at 140. So I think if we target 38 kilometers again here for the next lap, I think that should be solid here on Cityscape New York. Wim did ask, how can I help on a controller? Now, Wim, there is a wind in the game. So these riders, depending on where they are, will be phasing this wind. They will feel this from either front, back, left, or right. Now, you can position yourself on the controller because you won't feel it in your legs. Because you're using a controller, you have this power, you can then give shelter to other riders. You're essentially building a home, a house around a rider, so you can shelter them from the harsh weather out on the map. So we've got Jennifer on the screen right now. If you were to, I think you gotta sit back left here, but that changes as the wind direction changes. We'll see. So right now on the front left, I think it is, you'd have to stand right now. So front left of Jennifer, you give her a draft. So that's just what you've got to try, Wim. You've got to position yourself accordingly. Now, it does look like we're losing a few riders here, so we may have to keep it around 36. It looks like Beth, it looks like Wim, it looks like Frank and a few others are slowly letting go. I'm not sure. I do see they've stopped pedaling, so maybe they're looking to get off. But do let us know if you need the pace to be slowed, as Neil's using his comeback kit to get back on. But what other... Oops, sorry, excuse me, I banged into my glass of water. Casey also says, steady pace so you don't yo-yo them is important. Try not to let them bump you and slow down. Yes, it can be interesting. So, the Tim is saying last lap pays up here. The game is good. Yeah, so we are aware that the broadcast is... The broadcast here is not... We are aware of that and something we are looking into. So we're pushing it through here to 40 kilometers an hour. So it has been upped. So yeah, so they've upped it to 40 kilometers an hour here. So you've got comeback kits if you need to get back on. I think you've also got quantum shifts if you need to go through other riders. But you'll see Casey Shum helping out Jennifer Garcia down here. so we can see them all getting back. So 40 kilometers an hour seems to be where Tim is sitting it at right now, 40 to 42, as he is increasing it here on the last lap of Cityscape New York City. Good news though on the broadcast, as I see there is a new update available for our software, so hopefully updating that afterwards may help with some of the issues that we've been facing. But what other, we can extend it around. I mean, we've spoken to Homer about his emoji, but Homer, you're somebody who writes a lot and watches a lot of the streams as well. What do you think would make for an iconic skin or emote in the game of CVRcade?
I'm not sure just where I can't think of anything now.
No worries, it can be tough to be put on the spot. Even I'm like, what? There's so many things. Casey's turn is good. Homer's beard, amazing. I think Nils' celebration is good. Nigel's is good as well. Leave it down below if you've got any, or leave them also on the Facebook page or Facebook group that is CVRcade Riders. We're coming to the end here of Cityscape New York City, the group ride. Looks like we got 7 riders near the front, and then you've got Beth York being the sweeper near the back. She's staying 13 seconds back, it looks like. She is with the rest with Vanessa, so she can up it a tiny bit. Vanessa using a comeback kit to get back on. 1 kilometer remains. As after this, we head on to Cade Peak. Now, Cade Peak, again, you can crash on. If the leader crashes, you'll come to a standstill, but don't worry, you'll get brought back up to speed. Cade Peak will be 3 laps, and I think that one will vary on the speeds because there is an incline and a descent. So I think we may look to target maybe some equalized wattage goals throughout the map. So maybe leading up to the climb, you are expecting maybe 200 or 300 equalized watts. Then on the climb, you may expect 320, as some feel the gradient, some do not. Then on the descent, we may look to do 200. Actually, I've got to push less. I'm open for suggestions. I'm not sure if that's the way of leading a hilly group ride, but I'm not sure what exactly is the best way. So if you got any suggestions of how to do specific leadings on Cade Peak, which is a hillier map, feel free. I'm hearing suggestions that we may be looking at 200. No, sorry, that was this one. This round was 260 average, I do believe, all the way around. 300 meters to go. And as always, when it comes to an end of a group ride, it's like everybody can't help themselves. Everyone is trying to see if they can be the first across the line, despite having the leader as the power, as the super. Sorry, everybody is pushing to the front just to cross first. They like the competitive edge, that tiny bit of glory, as we'll see the riders push on through. Beth, Nigel tried it in the last zone. Alison Kubota is trying it in this zone. Sean Nils Heldens too. Can't help it. It's not a race, but they can't help themselves at the end. So you'll see that the riders all slamming their handlebars as they come across the line in this ride. I'm hearing that the next ride will be looking to average 260 equalized watts across. So that is a good starting point here, as we've got the display here. So at the end of a ride, this is not something we often show because we don't have the ability to, but today we do. You get this notification, this overall more information on your ride. You get the equalized watts you put out. You get the speed that you average. It's a very nice graph. You get the heart rate. You get your bumps. And then when you head to the next event, this pops up, which tells you the distance, how many laps you're going to be doing, and which supers are available. In this one, you've got comeback kits reaching after 45 seconds and quantum shifts every 50 seconds coming back. So several can be used on this one. We can go and chat with Beth York on her first experience sweeping Cityscape New York City. So Beth, what was that like?
Yeah, so one of the things that was interesting is I was noticing Vanessa and Kayla were back there, and they must have like listened in, and I said, oh, you don't have to pedal. So I was kind of like watching, didn't want to lose them. And then I was like, okay, I can pull up. I didn't have a comeback kit come back. It was sort of more random than refillable. So them and I'm not drafting as the gap was opening up. And so when the comeback kids did come, I was able to pull the group that was with me up to the front. I'm not sure how that dynamic felt to riders when I kind of drifted up the front. I think that might have changed the pack dynamics a little bit as the sweeper sort of passing some people. So I'll be curious to see some of that feedback. But yeah, no, that was really fun. I think that it's a good experience to do that. And I think having the comeback kid, so like if you were to drop back as a sweeper, go grab somebody, you could drop them and then tow them back with you, kind of the same way the tractor beam works. So that was fun.
Is that something we'll be seeing in the Rise and Rip group rides, having a leader and having a sweeper?
Well, I'll be honest, I don't really use the leader function so much in Rise and Rip because we like to piss some of those dynamics of like passing. So I'll do a lead out and I'll say, okay, quantum shift through me, pop the power up and take it to the line. So, I mean, I could configure leader with like a larger leeway, but we try to trade pulls on the front. And 1 or 2 times that I've used the leader function, it just changes that ability. And I think most people who are coming to the class are pretty disciplined, or to the activity are pretty disciplined. They're not, trying to race up the front. They're there to learn and practice. Sometimes we don't even care because we're doing laps, like say on Tiki Turns or something. I don't want a leader feature. I want people to be, trying and crashing and having fun and using supers to comeback kid, just using different tactics and sharing them. So we kind of get spread out sometimes on the track or map on purpose. So it depends on the ride, whether I would really use it. If we were just chatting and we wanted to just not practice anything, I think it's really good. But a lot of times we have really specific objectives that we're working on. And yes, we talk about food, but we also practice different dynamics and, do some pace lining and stuff like that. And it's fun.
I mean, food is the most important topic to discuss. I mean, there's not much else to chat about. But yeah, Beth, it'll be fun to see how this one goes. I know this is surprising. We've got Homer and Elizabeth riding this one as well. I know Elizabeth had a lot of fun last time around as we see Homer on the front here. Elizabeth, what is it about dodging? I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I'm just going to ask. Is that okay, Homer? Well, I think...
She's not here, Whisper.
Oh, she's not here.
Oh,
that's I'll just have to yell really loud. Hopefully she can hear me back in the house and see if she can come storming out. But what do you think, Homer, that made dodging the obstacles so fun?
Oh, it's just a different aspect of the game, and it certainly breaks up any monotony you may experience in like an echelon or something. So it's good. It's good to have the obstacles in the road, I think, to keep your mind sharp.
And what about the climb? What about having that gradient in there? How does that affect things?
On this track?
Yes.
On this track, the gradient doesn't seem to affect. It doesn't have too much of an effect on me. So, I kind of like the grades once in a while. So.
Well, your favorite map is told to be Summit Islands, and so that, I'm pretty sure that has a gradient or two in it, but we're fun to see this one go along. I think we'll be looking to average 260 equalized watts on this one. It's a tougher map to select a certain speed to go for because as you go up and down, your speed will differ very heavily. So it's tough to say one specific speed to go for. So look for Tim Fulford, the leader. He'll be staying in the middle of the road, except for when there's obstacles. He'll be going left and right. And try and see if you can stay around 260 equalized watts and go with. We'll, of course, adjust accordingly if we see something as the riding unfolds, as the group starts to move on through, and we'll see. If you are a controller or a keyboard rider, see if you can help some of the other riders in the group by giving them a draft. There's wind in this one, so the best way of supporting another rider is by staying right in front of them. But you gotta wait here, as no reason to sprint out of the gate. Tim is currently down in 16th position, so you're being held back until he moves on up. And on this ride, Beth York is the sweeper on the back, so can't go past him and can't go behind Beth York on these next 8.4 kilometers of Cade Peak. I see we got Daniel LeBlanc saying gradients don't affect Homer because he's a machine. Well, what happens when you've got two machines teaming up? I mean, that's kind of what we saw in the CVRcade Derny Cup when Sebastian Kuhn and Homer Thompson teamed up. There's no wind in this one, KG. No wind on Cade Peak, just 0 kilometers an hour, straight up ride with each other. Tim is currently down in 7th place, so Wim, Homer, Casey, just keep in mind here as Wim goes down, you can't really go past Tim Fulford. He's currently at 200. I think he'll look to upping his speed a tiny bit here. But Jennifer, so far, one event down. How did you find your first group ride?
Oh, it's awesome. I like this a lot. I think it's actually a good way to like train on like drafting tactics. Because that's something my dad is always telling me, like, the wheel. So right now I'm just trying to work on like figuring out the draft. So it's good. It's good practice.
Well, it looks like you're getting support out there from Wim Moisen too, so learning how to draft with some of the best. Looks like it's all good. Wim having I love the fact that Wim has two machines in here. It's like, you know what? I have an X and a PC, where the majority just has one or the other. Wim goes, I can do both, but good to see him out here helping out, giving a helping hand where can be. Alison Kubota, Casey Shum, Daniel LeBlanc, Tim Fulford, Jennifer Garcia, Homer Thompson, Nils Heldens are out here. We got Badger, who is down with Beth York, down in 13th place. So that is the tail enders of the group, but they're only about 3 seconds down. So no reasons to panic as we see Beth ordering her pepperoni pizza, as she assumes everybody else does as well. So no blame on that one, Beth, but I'm not sure. What are you saying? Oh, you've had both. You've had. Yeah. You know you've got. That was for me. Did they taste good? And you can be honest. I don't think they're
delicious.
Watching.
In the warm up, let's just say that I would never be able to do this in the race because I'm like hanging over my handle. It's like wanting to puke, feeling like my heart's going to explode. In good fun. Not really, but I wouldn't even think about it. I need a peep. I can eat a goo, but that was kind of nice in between. They're like, oh, yummy, this is delicious. So, you know, all right, obstacles, got to focus here. Boom. Ah!
You could not have done that better.
Sweeper goes down. Look out. That's all right.
I think you just commentator cursed yourself.
You know it's possible. Go. There we go.
Wow.
It's possible. Now I just want to come back, kids. See, this is what I mean. Like all of my bank is filled up with quantum shifts, so I'm picking those out. So if you're ever in an event where they're not refillable or predefined, you got to open up. It's like a poker game, right? You got to like get a new card dealt.
Yep.
So you need to dump them, and then they'll get refilled. I know you know that, but I don't know if you mentioned it on the stream. So
I like how while you've gone to the front, our sweeper and our leader have now changed places. It's not your fault. Tim crashed, but you're now in first place. So we may want to slow this one down to bring the sweeper back.
There it was. Yeah. I was too busy dabbing on you.
This is
my
garbage.
gosh.
Okay, everybody, huddle up. Huddle up. Let's get this together. Tim, hit the front. Beth, hit the back. 260 equalized watts is the magical number. Tim Fulford is the man leading the front. We got Beth York at the back, taking up anyone who is falling behind here. 260 equalized watts. Dodge the obstacles out on the map. But the moment Beth is like, oh, time to concentrate. Oh, I crashed. So, could not have been better timing. Nils Heldens here at the front as well. So, make sure to stay around the leader. Get the drafting percentages up here as Daniel and Nils move on up. I think Tim Kenning Breeze, I'm not sure, from looking at it, I think on the descent we might be able to increase the speed a tiny bit. It looks like it's a bit slow here, which is like a yo-yo effect, but that's just from looking at the outside. So we'll see how that progresses. That was the first lap down, and we'll try and see what will go on the next 2 laps out on they come to the start finish banner as Badger again goes down. Jennifer, though, sticking with the draft. Jennifer and Allison in here drafting each other. Jennifer getting about 40% as Casey flies on by, gets met by the leader feeling. But controversial Mutt KG. Beth, you're eating both cupcakes. I was gonna share my half with you. I thought this was like, peace offering. She takes one, she gets good words by the commentator, and I was gonna be like, well, the moderator can have the other half. I mean, what should the punishment be? Like 10 years to serve as sweeper on every ride? I don't know. Having to finish last every single event going forward for not sharing. Beth says she has more. Question is, for how long does she have more? That's the real question. So we will see. It looks like Tim is now moving up the pace a tiny bit. So I'm not sure exactly what Tim is aiming for here. I think he said he's aiming for 260 equalized watts, but I'm not sure if that's keeping everybody together. It's a tough map to keep everybody together out here, but that's currently the achieved attempt on the front here. As Casey, who I know is watching in the chat. Casey, what are you... Oh, I just minimized the chat. Well done, Jesper. What are you trying to do here, Casey? Because I see you letting go of the back and then flying to the front. Letting go of the back and flying to the front. So usually someone who always has something to test, something to try. Interested to see what exactly Casey Shum is attempting out here as Wim Moisen is riding with Jennifer. Tim says 245 watts average so far, equalized watts riding out there. So that's what he's been sitting around. Looks like it's fluctuating a bit, so a bit higher on the climb and a bit lower on the descent. Now, I am wondering, Casey Shum just said, I'm trying to break down the fence. Now, I'm not sure that's it's definitely a strategy that can be tried. Hasn't been effective so far, but if you at first don't succeed, try again. But I think in this case, may just crash a few times. We're gonna see as Casey once more tries to break it down. Question I see is, why wasn't the leader in the stream? Well, we're just trying to keep... So our main priority here is, first of all, everybody has a great group ride, right? Everybody has a great experience in the game. And then from our broadcasting point of view, from my executive producer and I, what we're really trying to do here is to circle in on what may be causing these issues. So, the broadcast, we've been broadcasting for so long, so much, and we're just trying to narrow down what's happening. So every time we're testing certain things, and I believe after today, we've narrowed it down to one culprit, which will make it easier to solve now that we've tried maybe 15 different checklists, and narrowing it down to one culprit should be making this easier. So the leader going forward is definitely something that we need in the stream, and that's some of the takeaways that we're learning as we do more and more of this, as we get to the halfway point. As we see Beth still at the back here, sweeping anyone if they get left behind. She's dragging Vanessa Murahan, all the bot patrol. Badger's there too, and then Homer Thompson leading the front. Homer also right. I think we could be having a great leader in the ride. So how we communicate... Oh, Tim has gone down. And everyone gets brought to a standstill. So Tim Fulford crashed, brought everybody down to a standstill, and now he's got to come through. He's got a quantum shift, and then Tim goes down again. So everyone comes to a standstill. So Casey didn't succeed in breaking the fence. He just merely stopped the fence. He's like, I'm pulling down roots. This is where the stop is. Now, this is the first of group rides we've done. Now, there'll be plenty more in the next 2 weeks. So every stream or every zone that was active will stay active, and in its place we'll take group riding activities such as this one. As you heard earlier, Some may be targeted towards certain priorities and certain objectives, and some may just be for casual chatting and riding. Today is our first real collective effort here in Zones K and L of putting on a group ride, and so we're taking in the learnings and we're hearing feedback. You've heard Homer, Elizabeth, Daniel, Niels, Beth, Ryan, Jennifer, and taking in that feedback and improving the experience every ride we go along. So just make sure you keep coming back and keep sharing that feedback. We're all ears, either on CVRcade Riders or here on the chat further down here. So we're gonna see seeing on through. So Casey Shum saying Tim Fulford is in need of training wheels. Well, 2 crashes back to back do happen. So again, 260 equalized watts is what we're trying to stay around for the time being. I see that Quentin Molyneux has joined us in the chat as well. Let's hear what people think of the pace so far. Nils, you're happy with the pace? Do you want it up? Do you want it to stay, or do you want it to go down?
This is fine, to be honest. It's good for everyone, especially if you're going to have some crashes on the downhill and on the uphill. So this pace is fine for that because people can come back.
Got you. Thank you, Nils, who is currently riding out on the map with the rest. As I see, Beth York is taken to the lead here. I'm not sure what Beth York is doing here. Beth, what's the meaning of this?
Pulling a Casey shot.
So you're forcing up what?
Did everybody come with me?
I don't think so.
Could they pedaling? I mean, I couldn't make the fence, but could people stop pedaling? Like behind me?
I'm not sure we want to. Maybe we want to try this another day, Beth. I think we might be escalating things a bit too quickly here. So I think we might, just for today, keep the parameters.
No, I heard Casey was trying to play some games, so I was like, I knew he wasn't having success. I'm like, maybe with the sweeper, I can pull people with me.
Yeah. The difference is, I think Casey, so it doesn't matter. I think everybody's like, what's happening to me? I'm being dragged along here. So make sure further down.
I had a comeback hit. I was making up an 8-second gap, and I had a comeback hit, so I moved to the inside and went by, so I didn't lose my momentum. And I was like, oh, let me just continue and see what happens. So it was just sort of a spur of the moment thing.
Yep. No worry. It looks like everybody's just having fun anyway. It's more the concerned eye in the sky, quality control, master support. Just checking around. What is she doing? It's like, well, in case of a sweeper coming on through, hold on to everything.
It was a cupcake. The cupcake super. The double chocolate fudge cupcake super made me do it. I cannot be held responsible for what chocolate makes me do.
KG and I are still on the fence here. Oh, Tim has gone down again, so you may want to slow down here, Beth. Otherwise, everybody's going to be dragged on up. But Mark, KG, and I, we're still deciding whether or not it's off the island or it is like Niels Helden's, it's prison time. Of course, with neither which will happen, but we'll see. 1.2 kilometers to go here. Tim Fulford, stick around. Tim, is it just me or is the leader super, when it gets activated in the game, I saw it a bit in the warm-up, it may be one of my favorite animations in the game. It's like this water tidefall looking futuristic coming up. That was not a good job explaining what it looks like, but it looks like a tidal wave that's been electrolyzed. That's been like Tron. I don't know. Get in the game, create an event with leader, and see what it feels like. Because I think it's got very good visuals. It's not a super we've seen a lot of either, so you can see it on the riders nearby list when it's active. But 700 meters to go. Everybody stick together. See if you can keep the rubber side down. And you have completed 2 out of the 3 events in this zone. For those that have done back to back, I see it more as a tidal wave. The VMix producer on my left thinks it looks like more like a soccer net or like a fish net. I wouldn't agree with that, but we'll let the jury be standing out on that one. I think everybody has got different opinions on that. I know somewhere FOG in the chat is going to be like, what are you guys talking about? Obviously, can't you tell it's a reference to something, something, something that maybe Princess Bride, which I'm still yet to see. Well, we'll see how it goes on through. Coming to the end here, everybody is accelerating on through, but no need to. You're going to be brought back. Everybody's trying to win the group right here. Despite there being no line, you got Nils, you got Casey, you got Homer. Everybody pushing to the line. So they get no results when they come to the finish line. So it's merely bragging rights, but everybody wanting to cross the line. Look quite fun. And that marks the end of Cade Peak. We now head to Country Rally, which will be 5 laps once more. Beth riding on through. Best Forrest Gump impression. Thank you so much to our leaders, our sweepers, and everybody else out there as Wim Moysen and Vanessa Murahan comes on through to finish off Cade Peak. So 2 down. You got 1 more to go, and then you've completed the rest here in this second zone of the day. Do you remember we've got another zone coming up tonight, which will be Zone T. It'll be Aaron Starlin right here in the booth. He'll be chatting with the riders, and those that want to do more group riding can come back and do that too, either physically or non-physically if you want to do so. Country Rally is up next here as we see it loading on the screen. 5 minutes 30 until this happens. We'll see. We'll go back there to Nils Helden and get a word. Nils, that sprint towards the end there, I mean, you guys were all being held back. I mean, what compels you to do it anyway? There's no results. There's nothing to do. How come you do it?
Bragging rights, to be honest. Just for the fun of it. We on the road, we usually do town side sprints, which is kind of the same, but in that case, you won't be riding into the fence, hopefully. So, yeah, it was quite fun.
And how you don't even know who wins. Like, you say bragging rights, but it's like, well, I saw my millimeter cross.
You can definitely see it. The avatar that wins is going to stick his hand in there.
Oh!
Won it, I think.
That's true. That is true.
Mate. Like,
well, did you see your avatar celebrate on the last lap?
No. No, I saw Homer, I think. I think it was someone from so.
Oh.
I didn't win the last time. I did win Zone K on K, so I'm going to get a bit here.
Well,
yeah.
Congratulations on winning the casual group activity. I mean, that you got to put that one in a trophy case somewhere. So definitely filling up. Well, Nils, good luck here on Country Rally. This one does have Racer's Edge as an ability. So if you're riding this, you're going to have 3 different experiences from each event. First event, uncrashable as an ability. You cannot fall down. Second event was a high skill event. Even though it was a group ride, it had a hill in it, it had obstacles. You could crash, you could hit obstacles. This one is again a high skill event, and there's Racer's Edge, which means you get that automatic increase in aerodynamics, which means you go quicker. It takes less effort, less equalized wattage to go quicker in the game. So be aware of the corner speeds. I think it's 42. Now, don't take my word for it, because it varies. Like, every corner is a bit different, but I think as a guiding principle, 42 is probably where I'd say some of it. We'll see 46 for this one, Quentin, but you do start sliding out. So it depends on what you're going for. Are you riding this casually? Then you don't really have to worry about the corner speeds. You just ride on through, try and keep it around 42. If you opt to try and follow Casey Shum, Quentin Molyneux, whoever else might be giving it some, Nils Heldens, then you may want to aggressively hit the brakes a tiny bit or maybe push it to your limits, but then you're finding it out on your own. If you are a casual group rider, 42, it's Racer's Edge ability. Just be aware. And of course, there's the barn door, there's the hay bales, and there's certain things you've got to keep an eye on at all times. 2 minutes to go here. Last time on Country Rally, we saw Beth come second. Beth, are you going to attempt this one, or what? There's no sweeper on this one, so you've been relieved of your duties. What are you going to do for this one?
Yeah, well, surprisingly, I'm not like the group that actually does like 4 omniums in a day. So this being my second omnium, and I rode this morning, doing some fun stuff. So this bird hour riding, I don't know what my leg gonna have left, even though we've been kind of chill riding. So we'll see. Maybe I'll have something up my sleeve. I don't know. I love this track. I love this map. This map is fun.
What makes you love this map?
You just have to stay sort of focused and in the zone. I think that like the level of concentration, and when we race it, it's usually at the end. So it really challenges you when you're fatigued. It challenges you, and you just can't look away. And because it's hard, the reward, it's very rewarding. Like things that are easy, who cares? Anyone can do it, right? But like when things take practice and take skill, I think there's a different level of reward and satisfaction. So yeah, I think it's just being like, oh, I did better. Even if you don't win it all, you're like, I did way better navigating that, and I use my supers more efficiently. So it's just being able to build confidence and improve rather than just do the same old thing. So it's a great track. It's a great map.
I think many agree with you. We've got Casey in the chat giving away some secrets. He first of all would like everybody to know that he won Zone K. Casey Shum won Zone K. Boo-hoo, big surprise. He says, easier to win when no one knows it's a race. I think there was a few people in there that definitely knew that was a race. So that's got some credit to it. Casey says, most lefts are 46 and most rights are 40 to 42. Now, whether or not you choose to believe that is completely up to you, because Casey is a fox. And I'm not talking about a velocity rider here. He's clever. He would be the kind of guy who, now Casey, maybe not. He's too nice of a guy. But I could totally see a world where you give out the wrong corner speeds to make people crash, especially when you're in the ride yourself. But if you trust Casey, the left before the barn door is 40. Most lefts are 46 and most rights are 40 to 42. He says most, so saving himself. Yes, Wim, you can go full out on a controller on this one. Feel free to give it your all. Everybody has been unleashed and they can push on through in one. What have you thought so far of today? The riders and the viewers. I saw we had one here is Casey Shum. You know, Casey, most rights are actually 40 to 42. Did you know? As he falls down. So does Daniel, so does Allison. Tim comes on through, and Casey is back in the lead. Jennifer with a corner caper. Last time we had Race's edges and ability was Sidewinder, and Jennifer came back to ride Sidewinder again, only to realize that Omnium did not have Race's edge ability. So we'll see what she can do on this one. She looks like she is concentrating hard to go and push on this one. Casey's in the lead, Tim is in second, Quentin in fourth, Jennifer in third, Nils in fifth, Daniel further down, Badger down in 11th, with Beth York in 9th. We got also Wim Moisen in 10th. Casey says need new brake pads. Yeah, this is definitely where you've got to be careful, especially if you're on a controller, because you can easily push over the speeds and get overconfident, and having several crashes can be on the limit, as we see. Tim Fulford is hitting 200 equalized heart rate here, so he's pushing on through. He is trying to get back up to the front as we look to the side here. He's pushing on through. He's got number 9 for this one, so I wasn't actually aware that. Well, I assume it's the order of which you enter the event. So we've seen Tim be number 8 in many of these events today. In this one, he's number 9 on the back. I mean, that's another thing. We're talking Casey's number 8. Something we were talking about was that the skins and the emojis. I would love for the ability to choose your own number. Like, just have a personalized number. I'd even pay for it just to have, like, I don't know, number 1, number 7, number 17, number 77. Like iconic numbers that people. Well, iconic to like everyone has an association with a certain number. It's like playing football, playing soccer. You get a number. I think in the US. I think you're number 7, and it's just a number that sticks with it, and you want to kind of have that in your back, and it also gives identifying characteristics of a rider. So you know Jennifer Garcia is always number 6, or Quentin is always number 99, or Tim is number 2. I don't know, just different things, exciting things that potentially could be coming all to the platform. So all the opportunities are up in the air. We'll see. We're coming on through to 3.7 kilometers to go. We're pushing on through. Everyone wants to finish this one off. Nils, one hand on the brake. So with the Racer's Edge ability, you don't have to go as hard, but if you crash, you may end up having to go harder, as you're going to have to accelerate back up here. So we're going to see. It looks like Casey Shaw may right away with this one. Casey Shum on a controller. Quentin is yet to go out and buy a controller. Quentin opted not to get a controller because he is scared that Jennifer goes down. I think Jennifer just moved a lane to the left just as Quentin came there on the left lane of her. So poor timing on that one. But Quentin did not want to buy a controller for the fear that it will get nerfed. But he's feeling the consequences here as he's getting beat by not only a controller but also a physical rider in Tim Fulford. So both are currently higher up here as we are over the halfway point, and we've got 2 laps to go here as they push on through. Beth near the back here with Badger. I think Beth is yet to crash. 1:15. Is it a nice change of pace to get a Racer's Edge ability?
Yeah, it is, and I've done this on before where I've overcooked the corners when I've had the push on the tailwind, and that's one of the things that's really clever with creating these rides and these races and how we ride them is just a little wind or just a certain ability can really change the dynamics. So this is 44. I had to slow down before, but I'm going to start to get a push as I come through the hay bales, and so that first corner up ahead is a point of danger, particularly if you're trying to get people out in front. I think we saw some mistakes, but we're riding this one controlled without really trying to push it. You can see me slide out there, almost crash. I didn't almost crash, but I was sliding out. So I'm just kind of feeling the tempo here and not pushing it hard. I pushed on the last on this race, but more learning.
And also the last Omnium did not have Racer Edges and abilities, so you had to produce more power to stay with the front.
There's
so
that too, yeah.
That fatigue probably kicking in too here. But Jennifer with a good performance in 4th, and as I say that, the commentator's curse. Sorry, very much sorry. That one is on the commentating team. Definitely no fault of Jennifer for exceeding the corner speed on that one. As Nils Heldens comes back and tries to pass Allison Kubota with his corner caper, and he just gets in behind Allison and does not fall down in that corner. Allison, one hand on the keyboard. 1.4 kilometers to go. Again, I do encourage everybody to share your ideas. For the duration of the next 2 weeks, we'll be having some fun with these CADE group activities. I know that Moti P. Kelney right now has a million ideas. He's put out the asynchronized butt challenge that anyone can try out. No, Air has his idea out. So if you too have an idea, if you want to lead a group activity, I know Casey has already said he's game. Anybody else out there that feel like you've got something to contribute, you want to be a part of this, and you want to come in and lead these. I think the broadcast, I think how we display this will change over the next 2 weeks. Today, just jumping in here in the studio, commentating the ride, but also having a look at our setup to troubleshoot. But as we progress, it may be Casey Shum who sits in the seat, and he, says, okay, everybody, now we increase the wattage, we go down, watch for the CADE corners, or watch for the just look out for stuff in the road. Or it's Beth York who stands in here, rides the bike just like Rise and Rip. She talks through, you have the conversation flowing. What we might also do is we may just have audio coming through the game, which is something we're able to record. So right now, something we've tested a lot in racing is that we've had VMix calls open here as Casey is going to come across the line first, is that we only have VMix calls, we only have audio from these 8 riders because that we can control. But what we may also experiment with is having the audio widget in the game be something that we can turn on and off, and so that if you have a leader who stands here and leads it like I'm hosting this right now, you could have a rider, and then you can hear from everybody in the game. Now, that has never really been tried before, but these are the exciting things that are made possible here by these CADE group activities. So if you have any ideas, any challenges, even exciting things you want to try out, because we had a good fair share of riders out on the maps today, both physical and non-physical. I think we had around 30 riders in the first group. So if you want to get interesting, you can get involved. I'm also hearing that Racer's Edge may not necessarily make it easier. It might also make it tougher, and that is correct. That's why I went through the spiel of the corner speeds initially, because I know for some the corner speeds are quite vital, and with Racer's Edge it will increase the technicality of the event. So that's why Casey with the left and corner speeds and the barn door as they all come across the line and they finish. We'll get some final words here as we see Jennifer and Daniel come across the finish line with Wim Moisen, Homer Thompson, Beth York, as I think Wim is further back as well. Jennifer having a crash or two, but first time in a group ride. Looked to be all right for first time. So that marks the conclusion. Let's get some ending thoughts here as they come across the liner. Maybe we'll just catch the end of this first. Homer, this is the trap you fall in when you're watching CVRcade. It's like, okay, we'll end it. No, never mind. There's another finish out there. Never mind. Wim Boyson goes down. Homer Thompson smiles as for a second he may have been nervous there. He had to outsprint controller, but he comes across the line. Let's hear a quick thoughts from the Tempest. Nils Heldens, 2 Omniums down, ridden them now. What do you enjoy? What do you want to see improved? What was the highlight of today?
What I want to see improve. That's a good question, actually. Maybe that the sweeper can't go past the right leader, because what you have with Beth is when she came in front of Tim, what would happen is that the people behind her will get dragged along and eventually might get dragged into the fence. So what we'll get is that the right leader go up to that, so he has to catch up, has to sprint, which isn't necessary. So maybe limit the right to not go past, the sweeper to not go past the right leader. Other than that, pretty actually, get thrown out of the race for passing the fence, so that's a good thing. You just get pushed back, and that's it basically. Maybe for the power-ups, I have a very evil idea. I'm not going to share it yet. I might as well share it. Just throw in a greater responsibility ability and see what happens. Lots of finger cramps probably, but that should be fun.
Anything is open. I like the ideas, Nils. Keep them coming. Thank you, Nils. Good to see you out here. Jennifer Garcia came across the line as well. Jennifer, what did you enjoy most today, and any ideas for making this concept better?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed this race a lot. I'm finally starting, well, I was about to say I'm finally starting to get the corner speeds down, although I crashed like 3 or 4 times. I finally figured out what the corner speed was on the last lap. The one I crashed in multiple times. So that was good. Ideas to make it better. Pick up the pace. No. Yeah, I had a lot of fun today. I had to do it a few more times before I had any valid suggestions, but I'm glad I came along for this one.
Well, hopefully see you back later tonight for Zone T, or we'll be back on Saturday. Now, we're going to have just the final finishing words here from the group ride master himself, the Omnium King, Homer Thompson. What did you make of today's rides?
I enjoyed this. I really did enjoy this. This was good riding, and I don't know. I think maybe if we could keep the sweep from crashing, I think that might help. Something to even or smooth out the race or the ride when the leader crashes. Otherwise, I think this was good.
Well, hopefully we'll see you back later tonight as well, Homer. And everybody else out there, thank you so much for watching, for taking part, and for riding with us here in the K Group Activities. That's Zones KL. We'll be back in 7 hours with more riding. Aaron Starling will be back here in the studio. If you'll be wanting to ride in, do make sure to sign up. It'll be the same set of Omniums. Looks really fun. I definitely want to get involved in riding as well. So hopefully you'll get to see me on a bike sometime soon as well. Thank you for watching, and we will see you all next time.
But no, Beth, your goes crashing down. Determination, the suffering, the ability to... And she's unleashed everything in this attack. See just how much that win means to him. All the marvels. Kayla versus Allison, and to the line. Kayla Laguna takes the victory.